Ben, you had a good experience with your first renter.
Yeah.
I mean, how many years was he in there for?
I think he was in there for 5 years, if I remember right. 5 years? I feel like it might have been 4. Well, I think it actually might have been 3 years with us. Then he switched, and my dad bought a bigger house for him, and he moved to my dad's rental. So he kind of took my renter, but 3 or 4 years, you know. But he was amazing renter, an older couple. Like, again, like literally when we came back to do the move-out inspection, we pulled open the stove, hadn't been touched, even the manual was still inside the oven, you know. So
4 years later?
4 years later.
4 years later.
He had a cleaning lady I think it was every day. I think it was every day they had the cleaning lady. I'm pretty sure it's every day. And so it was just immaculate, like literally immaculate. Like we just did nothing and put it right on the market and rented it out, you know. It's like,
yeah, so don't expect this, but you know, because it's not how it goes. And Ben had a good experience. I had a bad experience. I mean, I had some good renters, but I had some doozy renters, and it seemed like you always had good renters, and it was inexperienced. And I was renting out houses myself, and I wasn't leveraging the skill set of even my own family. Or Ben was great at finding tenants. I wasn't. It's probably why he's the owner and why I work for him now at the best. But you know, I had a tenant that he was good on paper, and but I didn't have the resources you guys have to get into people's backgrounds and really see if they're, you know, lying on their applications and stuff. So if somebody told me nice stuff on the application, you know, I would run like their credit and stuff, but I didn't have a lot to go on. I was like these other property management companies, they do a quick, you know, they say they do an FBI background check. That's basically a basic check that doesn't go into everything you need. And so, you know, I ran a lot of these checks, and I'd get these tenants, and they would pay for 5 or 6 months, and they were good, but they'd have something in their past, and I didn't know about it, wasn't able to dig up, or they lied on the application. And I even had one guy that like faked his own robbery at our condo, and you know, said that the check was stolen. You know, the only thing he stolen in his property was a check, and then so we called the police. I mean, it's like, you know, he faked a heart attack. I mean, this was a nightmare. And the thing is, it was honestly the difference between like Benton's renters and my renters is I wasn't good at doing the application and weeding them out, and that's so key to growing your portfolio from 1 or 2 houses to 5, 10, or 15. It's the tenant. Yeah. And I noticed with RentVest, I think that's a big part. You tell me, but I think that's a big part of why you guys have taken off so big and and done so well. It's because you've gotten good tenants. They've been so good at weeding out the riffraff that are like the ones I had.
Yeah, that's the secret of property management. The biggest one is identifying the property and getting a good deal. Like if you get 20% discount on the home, you're going to be successful. But really, it comes down to is the type of tenant you get. It really, because it trickles down to everything. One, the vacancy time, but also paying on time. Repair requests are less with the better tenant. They treat the home better. They leave it in a better condition. It just kind of trickles all of the aspects of what makes property management hard. And it's not like we do it, only person that can find great tenants. You can find great tenants on your own. It's just the same thing like you're talking about is identifying, getting some tools. Maybe you didn't know about this certain tool that you can find. We have a private investigator look at the background check because we know that cross state lines, the automatic ones like TransUnion, all those automatic ones, they don't look at multiple states and actually figure out if it's real or not. They don't try to cross check things. You need a human eye to do that, to say, hey, this John Smith is actually not this John Smith, and this guy John Smith actually should be in this background check, which is huge because that's a lot of time the people that are actually players, or I don't want to call them con artists, so those that actually know how to work the system, understand these rules, these kind of loopholes that no one knows about, but they know about because that's how they get by in life, and then there's situations like that, and so we have to find those things, and it's doing that. You know, a lot of those can just kind of pass the sniff test. That's what everybody does usually. I met them; they seem like good people, but really, unfortunately, what's nice about us, we can't go by a sniff test. We're actually also regulated by real estate division and fair housing. We got to make sure we kind of have a concrete across the board if they pass or don't pass. We can't just, hey, looking at this person, say yes or no.
He looks like a good guy.
He looks like a good guy.
You can't say that.
Which is actually, it's incredibly inaccurate. We can't even do that though, nice thing. But that's usually what happens is landlords, oh, they're such a good guy, that's such a good family, so I went ahead and took them in. It's usually the cripple of what happens in the rental investment, and unfortunately, and we don't have that opportunity, which is great. Plus, we can also do the extra things and look at the different factors, rental verification, pay stubs, calling the past landlord. Like, people don't do that. You need to do that. Call the past landlord, and they'll tell you what's going on. They're usually going to, the people that are kind of con artists or manipulating the system will give you a fake past landlord, and you sniff that out through tax records and stuff like that we can find, and that no one else really has access, but we can actually show you how to do that. And so we're able to do these things to make sure we get that better tenant. Plus, it's not about the verification. That's one great aspect of it, the screening process. The other process is how you communicate with them. You sometimes make them good tenants or better tenants by you being responsive, you're giving them all the information you can, setting terms up front and expectations up front. So you kind of set the tone for the residency. And when you set that tone to be a great experience, they want to reciprocate and make sure the landlord and the property management company has a great experience as well. That reciprocity really is true. It's not like they're buying something from us, but we're giving them good customer service and good experience. They want to reciprocate and have a good experience for everybody as well. And it really becomes that win-win situation, which seems like it's kind of rare in the rental investment world right now.
Yeah, it is. And, and I think that's what's lost with property management, that sometimes owners can do better. They could be more in touch with their tenant if they really want to, and what I like about what you've done is that you've made a system of it where you're removed where you need to be, whenever you do the application and stuff like that, and you're involved where you need to be, where it's most effective. And by systemizing it, you don't have the loopholes where, well, okay, I'll give them another 2 days before I send out the notice. No, we send them out, the notice 5 days later, if they don't pay or whatever else. And they know they're ready for that. Yeah. And not only that, is like they know what the letter's pretty scary that they get. It tells them like how we're gonna go to court and stuff. It's like, I think it's mandatory in most states.
In most states, you drop it off or it's certified letter. Yeah,
but it's a scary letter. Like,
it's almost like, hey, we're gonna go to judgment against you.
Yeah, you have to disclose that that's happening, and so, but they don't. You don't want to freak them out either. But so there's clear expectations that are set so that they don't freak out, and all of a sudden they're moving out. You're like, wait, what do you mean moving out? All you have to do is just pay your payment. There is communication, and so this is all stuff you can do on your own, like what Benton was saying, and you can be and that's why, some of these tips we want to give you so you can be a great, if you're doing a self-managed property, we hope that, you'll get sick of it and want to use us because, we have a good system. But yeah, if we can help improve the world with having better tenants and better owners, because, we have this disconnect where owners, tenants are people, like they have families, they have needs, they want to be in the school and the best for their kids, or they want to be close to work, or be in an area that's better for their health, maybe allergies, there's this house affects everything about their life. And so it's that balance of recognizing that, helping them have a great experience so they want to stay and take care of your house and feel ownership, but at the same time holding to the system.